Falcons Pulse. Bills win big over Jacksonville, and I think they have a QB problem. 3 weeks in on a new contract, and I think it's the worst in the NFL. Along with an upset, the Commanders beat the Bengals, but I'm not sure if I'm sold on the Bengals this year. So we're gonna look at some stats and see what we can go over. Along with that, don't forget to subscribe and let's dive right in. All right, so here's the big loss of the night. Jacksonville at Buffalo. A game I predicted Jacksonville to go on and win because I'm not high on Buffalo. I'm still weary about them, but I want to talk about Jacksonville first and foremost. What a pathetic effort, honestly. If I was a Jags fan, I would be totally upset. You give one of the largest contracts in history to a player who's going to give you a primetime performance like this. Now, you have a 21 of 38 passing, 38 times throwing, and you only get 178 yards. You got to get down the field more. He's got weapons. He has a running back, and they don't really utilize him. He only gets 11 carries. That's about average on what he's had. He's had between 13 15 carries the last 2 weeks beforehand, even with Bigsby out last week, who only had 2 attempts tonight. He didn't even split carries. So, and a lot of that I think comes down to them trying to battle back, but going down early. It's hard to watch because this is a very talented team. The Jaguars, I don't know if it's coaching, but they've been on one of the biggest fall-offs since they advertised tickets for the playoffs last year. And then they don't make the playoffs. Starting 0-3 puts them on the hot seat. They might be one of the bottom teams in the league that no one expected. Especially if you have to fire coach mid-season, change the staff. It's hard to put together a season at that point. You just paid Lawrence. It's going to be hard for him. I think he might be the most overpaid. And that's not even a might right now. That's probably a fact. Daniel Jones is one of arguably the worst contracts. But Daniel Jones got a victory on Sunday. Big difference than this. And Daniel Jones doesn't have the talent surrounding him like Lawrence does. I'm not big on Jones either. Don't get me wrong. But I think Lawrence needs to start putting on some performances, or else him and Doug Pederson are both going to be out of there sooner than Jacksonville fans would like. And then it's another Broncos situation. So you're not competing. Now I want to talk about some positives here. Buffalo, changed my mind a bit. Keep it going. I don't think this team is as talented as it was in previous years, but as we know, talent isn't everything. Look at Jacksonville. Buffalo is really playing into what works. And Josh Allen, he's on track to possibly be MVP. Front runner early in the season. But at the same time, that Jacksonville defense has been solid. They put 47 points on their heads like it's nothing. Okay, Josh, I see you. And James Cook, stud. He's a stud. Doesn't look like it here, but then you go down and he's getting 48 yards receiving. Shakir, 72 yards and a touchdown. Kincaid gets some action after 2 weeks of silence. Good thing for people's fantasy. Holman got 1 reception, 1 target. I have him in fantasy, not doing so well, but he got a touchdown off of it. I think the Bills, if they can keep this up, they'll be scary, especially if they can heal up a bit. I don't know the time frame off the top of my head about Milano. He's one of their leaders, and he's been out. They're doing this. So 3-0 start there. Total flip side of the coin in Jacksonville. I don't know what to say. Doug Pederson, get it together. All right, another upset. Possibly. What have these last 2 weeks been? Man. I mean, the quarterback play's been something. Burrow looked good. Not getting the W's huge, but allowing 38 points to the Washington Commanders, props to them. But Bengals defense, it's shoddy. You can't, at home, be allowing 38 points to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, stellar performance. Best rookie performance by far this year. Very high on the young man. I hope he can continue to make this role and help the Commanders. They haven't been prestigious in a long, long time. So if he can do it, break the curse. Props to him. Him and Dan Quinn, as I know as a Falcon fan. Cincinnati, I wasn't super high on them before the season due to their defense. Their offense, to me, Burrow's going to do his thing. Chase had a huge game. I wasn't too shocked. The Commanders, their BBs aren't good, so 33 points by the Bengals isn't shocking. Now, they did get a late score that affected it. Ultimately didn't result in a new winner, but I think the Bengals, they've got a lot to clean up on the defensive side of the ball. They let Austin Eckler have a few big plays in there, especially that 24-yard touchdown. Once you allow something like that, it can bury all momentum. So it's hard to say, are these Bengals going to bounce back? 0-3. We'll see. You have teams like the Commanders beating them, so you can't count anyone out, especially at this point in the season where everyone has seemed to flip on it all. You got Sam Darnold performing while Burrow's 0-3, Sam Darnold's 3-0. Who projects that? Nobody. Football. Love it. Now, I think the Bengals will get better as they go. Commanders 2-1. Hey, they're underdogs. They can continue to be that. I don't see them changing that, but they might be a sneaky wildcard team. We'll see how Jaden Daniels continues. Props to him going into Cincinnati and getting the big win. Now, can Burrow get his defense to not allow 38 points? Well, we'll see. He didn't have any turnovers, and they still lost. So they're going to need a lot more out of their defense if they want to win. They did pretty well against Kansas City. Then they come in Monday night and let the Commanders walk all over them at home. What Bengals will we get each week? I'm not sure, but it'll be a hard climb for them in the AFC to make it even as a wild card team. And the AFC North is studded. The only questionable team there is really the Browns, and that's because their offensive play. Their defense usually cleans it up pretty quickly in the season and gets right back to it. So we'll see. Can Burrow turn it around? I'm not sure. Congratulations to the Commanders. And we'll be on to next week, Thursday. Giants, Cowboys. Will it be a close one? It might be. But until then, we're going to head out for the night. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll continue on.